So it makes me really sad that society, sometimes I feel like we take 10 steps forward and 35 steps back. And, that's the way of, who knows, people who live in fear or are afraid of what they don't understand, trying to tip the scales in their direction. But love is always going to win.
Yeah.
And it's conversations like these and trying to come from the positive perspective and make sure we educate our children and the people around me as much as we can. And also, we're speaking from our queer experience, and everybody has a different experience. Everybody has a different opinion on how to handle these things. So we just want to let you in on some of the conversations that we have in our home, in our big lesbian home.
Yeah, for sure. We're in no way experts. We are just two gay girls who are sharing our gay experience on this planet.
There's 2 more points for the gay. Oh, babe, ship on your right. Careful. Gay. Just squeezing in as many as I can. Yeah.
Good. Take every opportunity that you can. It's the only way we'll be able to do this.
Yes. So speaking from our queer experience, see what I did there?
I loved that. Yes. Queer experience.
My queer experience has been really interesting, sometimes beautiful, sometimes really painful and eye-opening. And believe it or not, something I think that's different, that I've noticed at least, about being a queer woman is that no matter what, from a lot of different people in many different communities, you're still a woman. And the experience of being a woman is unique on this planet. You already have, for example, I feel like a lot of men see queer women as like this hot experiment that, is like a kink or turns them on sexually.
Yeah, women in general are seen as an object on the earth that's meant to exist for men's pleasure. I mean, this is like, we see this everywhere today in the way that media is presented, in the way that women are represented, in the way that gender roles are commonly viewed, in religion, as far back as anyone can date.
I mean, we literally couldn't vote. People are like, that was a million years ago. I was like, no, it wasn't, sweetie.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. So anyway, those, experiences together and feeling like completely invalidated by so many people, not only your relationship, but warping it into some weird sexual thing, which is another thing that I've faced and I've seen people face in the queer community. And you know what? It's way more fun over here with all the so kink and glitter, funny. Baby. And not the glitter. Glitter's a mess to clean up.
I mean, glitter's great, but yes, it is a mess to clean up. Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about the lesbian experience. I mean, there has been places throughout history where lesbianism has been exploited for profit. I mean, just recently there was an article, remember a couple of months ago, I was so outraged by the New York Post that wrote, lesbianism is a new fashion, Yeah,
like why people are dressing like lesbians.
Like lesbian, and what does that even mean? What does it mean? I don't understand that, because it's a sexual orientation. It has nothing to do with how we express ourselves, with how we dress, with how we look. There's a spectrum of lesbians. I mean, this is my lived experience. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard when somebody finds out that I'm gay, because I don't hide this at all, but it's not something that I introduce in the first few words of meeting me. It's a part of my life. It's not all of who I am. And so when the conversation naturally takes the turn where I probably mention you as my partner or whatever, and somebody realizes that I'm gay, they're always like, oh, wow, I would have never thought, because I'm more feminine. I'm a femme. Yeah. There's a range of lesbianism, and it's not, a token to cash in for some kind of positive advertising. It's not something that you can objectify.
There are so many different, beautiful kinds of human beings that are a part of our community, not only the lesbian community. You said something really important, which bothers me a lot too, that I feel like as a queer woman, I have to fall within what makes somebody else comfortable. So yeah, like you can be gay and you can like women, but I still want you to look hot and like don't dress like a guy and don't look butch.
Oh my God, that's like the Latin cultural obsession. Yes. Is like masculine presenting lesbians. Yes, they like, despise them.
Yeah, and I don't
Esa mujer quiere ser hombre, which is that woman wants to be a man, and no. Like
also,
at all.
Like why are you so fixated on the details of what makes us who we are? That's what makes us special. That shows me that person is, I don't know, intimidated, afraid, doesn't understand. Maybe they're dealing with their own feelings, God knows. But when you are trying to, okay, you can be that, but within my box, that's where I feel like a lot of dangerous stuff starts too.
Yeah.
Because then on the receiving end, I hate for people to feel like, oh, I have to slither in these certain lines, you know, if I want to live comfortably, you know, like I have to be femme, you know, if I want to be treated by men a certain way, even though I'm gay. You know what I mean? And I've seen it. I've seen specifically in Miami, you know, like where a very masked, butch presenting lesbian, you know, has problems with the family because, oh, you're just trying to be a man. You're just trying to be a man. Like, it's like almost as if they separate the sexuality component, because that can be for them, separate it from like what they want a woman to role, what roles they want them to fill.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that makes me super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think just in general, lesbianism is misrepresented. I think a big part of that is because there are not a lot of spaces that are held for lesbians.
Oh, yeah.
Not just obviously in media in a way that's not sexual or not a novelty act, but even in real life. I mean, it's a fact that lesbian bars are on the decline and have been for decades now. And there are less and less lesbian spaces or, you know, queer-centered spaces. There's a lot of male-dominated queer spaces, not many that dedicate themselves to women. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even in movies, like, do you remember the movie The Kids Are All Right? Mm-hmm. Where Julianne Moore played one of the parents. Mm-hmm. That movie was directed by a lesbian, or at least a woman who's married to a woman. I don't know her actual orientation, but that movie infuriated me because the climax of the film was that Julianne Moore has an affair with a man.
Yeah.
And I felt like, wow, here's the first time that I'm seeing really in like a major picture a lesbian family represented in this way. And boom, she sleeps with a man. Like that was horrible.
Well, that's another thing. They think, oh, you're just a lesbian because, you know, you haven't had good.
Let's get into it. There's a lot of stereotypes of lesbianism.
Not only that, before we get to the stereotypes, which are really important, the representation, right? I was reading the other day in my research for this that the L word is actually one of the biggest used phrases, because you know how there's like dating apps now that are like for specific things,
right?
So they take data from those apps and they can see, which is creepy and scary. So be careful out there if you're
like
in a
Christian
dating app.
Mingle.
Thank God we're not on dating apps.
Hey, people are on dating apps now to make friends, which is pretty cool.
Do you have Tinder, Gemini?
No, but I know a lot of people who do and like make friends that way.
Now I'm gonna be skeptical.
I mean, you could just
stay tuned next week where I will reveal if Gem has a secret.
I mean, I had a Tinder, but like before you.
Like you said, you know where your bed is, and I know where mine is. Anyway, so the L word was one of the most used phrases amongst queer women or lesbian women, and you know what is crazy? Tell me this is true or not, and I want to hear from y'all out there. I feel like it's like a rite of passage. You handed it down to me, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And like, but you know what?
It is.
That is the only show or representation where it's mostly a queer female dominated space, you know, not always. Now it's come back. Like even when you have, like, I remember in Grey's Anatomy, they had, oh my God, Callie and the blonde lady, Arizona, they were a gay couple. And it was incredible too, because I was like, wow, this is, you know, the first time that I saw it, and I was already older. Now I'm so happy that kids have a lot more, at least if it's one gay couple, it's better than no gay couple.
Right.
You know, we need more lesbian spaces, more lesbian shows.
Yeah.
Sign us up.
Hey, maybe we can create them.
It'll just make everybody happier.
Launching.